I did my final expedition project as more of a tool for me to use next school year as I step into the role as the ESE coordinator at my school. This is going to be changed a little bit. More resources will probably be added. I actually want to add some of the resources that you guys made to this for my teachers to have as a quick reference to what they really need to know about special education and how it impacts them and affects them. So the first one that we talked about were the laws. And how I did it was I listed some of the really important laws that have the most impact on them, which is Section 504, the ADA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, No Child Left Behind, and All Students Succeeds Act. And I just did a quick breakdown of what each of these things were, what they needed to do, what were the implications to these. And then at the end of all of the summaries, I did, what does this mean to you? Because I get asked that all the time. Okay, great, that's what I need to do, but what do I really need to do? And so what I said for the laws is these laws protect the rights of our students so that they are able to learn along with their peers. It allows them to have equality and will be welcomed into our classrooms. You're responsible to making sure that you adhere to the laws so that they know that they need to adhere to all those laws. I also included special websites for each topic. So for the websites for the laws, I did this, the blog, the Supreme Court of the United States blog, a fact sheet about ADA, a fact sheet about NCLB, an extensive website on the DOE resources for ESSA, and I also found a website called pta.org, and it has extensive resources for teachers and families on laws and the rights of their students, and it also has an awesome resource list for agencies and additional support. The next topic was inclusion, and inclusion is not all or nothing, and that was one of the big things. And so what I wanted them to take away from it is your job is to make sure that all students are welcomed and embraced in all your learning environments, that all students feel like a member of the community, and that you have adequate support in place to make sure they succeed. And a lot of the resources I used had to do with lesson plans and how to implement activities to help them be included in the classroom. Common Core, I listed what Common Core was, what was the goal of Common Core, and then some of the things, the mandates that Common Core has for math. And what does it mean to you? This means that you need to prepare students for tomorrow, not today. You need to make sure that they are building on their skills through project-based learning, use of critical thinking, cooperative learning, and applying meaning to all activities. A lot of resources for Common Core, Edutopia for videos, a lot of sample lesson plans for project-based learning, and Math Forum. On technology, I listed some of the uses for technology in the classroom, and I also went through and said what it means to them is you need to bring technology into your room. Reach out to your students and have them help you become more comfortable with technology because our students are way more comfortable with technology than we are. And some of the sites that I talked about were LearnNC, Tech Matrix, which it gives you all the resources for integrating technology for special education students into the curriculum. Collaboration talks about what it is and some of the main things that you need to have to be good with collaboration. And what does this mean to them? Be open, get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses so that you have a stronger working relationship. Be prepared to work with your special education teacher to plan, teach, assess, and manage your classroom behaviors. And be ready to see all your students achieve larger gains. Some of the websites I included were CAST. Verywell.com had a great article on how the co-teaching models worked. Behavior talked about how behavior impacts your learning. And then I talked about what does it mean to you. And I basically said they need to establish class expectations and clear procedures. and make sure that not only the students, but the families are aware of these expectations, and make sure that you're building meaningful relationships. One of my favorite websites is responsiveclassroom.org. And another really good one was modelmekids.com, and it talked about social skills, and it was actual videos of kids in the real world setting. And then reading, writing, and social skills. I talked about what are some strategies that you can use in your STEM classrooms to help build those, and what does it mean? You need to ensure that you're integrating subjects in your classroom, ensure that activities you implement have clearly defined roles, procedures, expectations, and most importantly, outcomes. Some of the websites I talked about were Iris Center, had a ton of online learning modules, and great PDF, some really great PDFs on how to implement this. And I hope this is going to be valuable for my teachers.